Yo, what's poppin'? We're here with the Toronto Defiant round table of three lads. Three lads buckled into the Defiant roller coaster. So we have
Against our will.
to my top left, Frags, aka Owen. To my top right, Steven, aka Steven. And me, Tommathan, aka Marcus, but Tommathan. So, Frags. Why are you on this roller coaster? Why are you buckled in?
I live in Toronto, so I will cheer for Toronto. I've not had any sport or anything. I've had a team to cheer for. Like, I don't play basketball, I don't play hockey, I don't play baseball. I don't like any of those three. So when a Toronto esports team of a game I played came around, I was like, let's cheer for these guys, and their colors are cool. So
Yeah,
I
big
couldn't
gamer.
lose. I couldn't lose.
The gamer colors tied you in.
Yep.
Alright, Steven, what about you, man?
It was just the colors, in all honesty.
Really?
No.
Like, I was going to say, huh?
I mean, I'm from Toronto. It's easy, right? This is the point of franchising. Like, you just get the team that's there. You know, I've been watching esports for a couple of years. Like, it's just so much easier to pick a team when they're just like, hey, you live in Toronto, right? So, don't even have to think.
Yeah.
I think I also just enjoy suffering. You know, being a Toronto sports fan, like watching the Raptors lose, watching the Leafs just continuously fail to make it past the first round of playoffs. Like,
You
I
love
don't
to
know.
see it.
I'm happy that the Toronto Defiant are, keeping up the expectations of all the Toronto teams. You know, it really makes me feel better as a fan.
Really,
we can't have them be too good.
fitting into the culture of Toronto teams.
Exactly. They really understand how to run a franchise over there.
Yeah. I was tossed up between Vancouver and Toronto in the first year, to be honest, because I don't have any allegiance to Ontario. But because they were closer to Atlantic Canada, it's like I kind of had to lean into them a little bit.
Mm.
But Vancouver was so fun in season one. I kind of leaned towards them a little bit.
Yeah. Isn't Boston closer to PEI
Yeah.
than Toronto?
Yeah.
What are you
home
doing?
Team. Boston's your home team.
Boston is my home team, technically. That's nah. I could never. I could just not do that.
The most professional organization in the league. What are you talking about?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely real and not Mickey Mouse at all. Alright, so now we have moments where we're like, why do we support this team? Why are we here? What was your biggest, I hate the Defiant moment? Why I hate these guys? What do we got? Any thoughts?
Just constant disappointment. I think my I had pretty strong hope. There was a period in time where I just kind of not abandoned the Defiant, because I always wanted them to win, and anytime I saw it leave even a fight win in 2020, in 2019, I was like, damn, finally we're hitting a shot. You know? I don't know. I remember 2020, what was it? The GOATS year, right? 2019, I was super hyped about just being a Toronto franchise. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. We've got some cool pieces. But then 2019, that offseason, I remember hyping up with Steven. It's like, oh my god, they signed Cheer4. Oh my god, they got agilities. Oh my god, they've got the whole gang. They've got all the Canadians. This is the Canadian super team, right? And then disaster struck.
That was just never
Disaster
its potential.
struck. I don't know. Yeah, that's big. I think that's my biggest disappointment so far, is probably the super team year gave me the most just depression about this franchise. But I think last year as well, in 2021, was also pretty brutal, because we actually had players I really liked and thought were really good, like Sato, and it just did not happen. Nothing happened.
And KDG had so much hype too.
That too. I've been a big up until this year. I've been a very big KDG supporter and defender. I thought he was sick on the Dynasty. I liked what he did with Fusion. When the Fusion gang came over to Toronto, I'm like, sick. We've got pieces, man. We've got half the machine that did well last year. Surely we can piece together half of another machine. We couldn't.
The parts were not. We couldn't find the parts, bro.
Nope.
I think for me, like I kind of agree with Owen. Like the super team year, I think has been the biggest disappointment. There was so much hype around it. Like I remember doing some Reddit detective stuff and like figuring out Nevix was going to get signed before he actually got announced. But I guess to say something different, like in more recent memory, like losing that Koth map to Fuel from like the last tournament, like that was as soon as they lost the Koth map, it was just like this is over. Like they're just out of the tournament. That's it. Like that was the end. Right?
It was so close.
Yeah.
It was so close. HOTBA pulled like some fucking sick ass like tech doing like the jump on Zarya
jumps.
through the window to like recontest. And then like he tried to do it again, and I think he killed himself doing it. Like it was just like fuck, man. Like
and the worst part about that was that like after that Koth, it was like not even close, right? It was just Dallas.
They themselves, right? This is what I'm saying. Like that's why it was so disappointing. Because like the Koth map was so fucking close.
Yeah, it was like I believe this team was like had a chance. I thought they were gonna make the lower bracket run.
No.
If they won that map, I thought they could have won. They could have made the upset. I credit the upset. That's how much copium was going on right there. I thought they'd make it.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Aldo Texas reunion buff.
That was so true. Is he in Canada now, or is he still in Texas?
I don't know if he is. Idea. He would have had to secure a Canadian visa.
That's so rough, Geraldo. That's gonna be awful. No. Yeah, that tournament is just not great. Surely it can't get worse than that tournament, right? For the season, surely.
Well, I mean, now it's Dallas first round, right?
True.
Like,
but then Houston.
But then we lose to Houston.
I mean, like.
But that was just because Pelican was like unreal.
I mean,
right?
Pelican popped off. You get boomed by losing to Dallas. And like I do think that like they just kind of got mentally boomed after losing that Koth to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you see it in the game, like the maps that followed, and then like it's easy to see how that would translate to the next game when the next game was like actually the next day. So
and they had internal struggles. So I mean, maybe that's some more copium. But then here we go into this next stage, this next tournament run and qualifiers. We get this copium of, oh god, KDG's gone. Honeymoon. we get a honeymoon of the guy that was apparently causing the issues. He's gone, so now we get to play good, right? Right? I hope so.
Surely.
I know so.
Just hopping the copium over there. Jeez.
So I guess we've already kind of talked about our favorite iterations. It has to be the Canadian super team. The potential for that team was so cool, right? Like, just having all the Canadians, it was too good.
Defiant used like in terms of marketing, that first like 2 weeks or tournaments where Defiant was actually like on stage in 2020 at the home stands, all of those like gifs of like Surefour high-fiving another dude, Agility smiling, everyone having a great time, those were used for so long after that, and like the team was just a depressive mess.
Yeah, not
so
great.
like, but like the hype was there, the hope was there, but I don't know.
I guess we could talk about biggest fumble, but that's kind of hard. So, because it's just like that team, and it's just like all the internal struggles. Like every season, an internal struggle somewhere, and it's been without fault, right?
Well, that's kind of like what it is overall. Like you want to talk about the biggest fumble? It kind of feels like it's just been this organization. Like people are like, oh, like they've been unlucky. Oh, like like this and that. Coaching struggles, but like at the end of the day, like. It's a sports team. Like you're paying the money to win, right?
Yep.
Like if you're not winning, like it doesn't really matter.
I don't know. I mean, I can very safely say that I think that like a huge fumble is not being able to piece together like last year they threw the bag at like getting the fusion players right from before. And then it's like, well, what did they get to pair that? I can't even remember off the top of my head right now, but I remember that they were very underwhelming. Who did we have to complement Sado, Heesu, and
Michelle? Nice.
Yeah, we got Michelle. Nice. We got Nice was like retired.
Michelle didn't play that badly, I will say.
But he wasn't. Yeah, but if you're putting together a team, they said they wanted to win last year.
I think that's been the biggest issue that Toronto have had is they can secure the big pieces, right? Every single year, they have players that people get like hyped around, and then they just don't fill every single role. Like I feel like they're always like they sacrifice to like get a big piece, and then they're filling in the role with players who just like aren't able to keep up, and they're never able to like actually create a roster that's solid.
Mm-hmm. There's always a hole
Some
somewhere.
of these lopsided rosters that have holes, yeah.
I mean, this year, a lot of people were saying, like, going into it, they're like, "Oh, look, I mean, they signed like people liked HOTBA last year,
Yeah.
but they point to him, it's like, oh, that's another hole. It's like you don't have an elite off tank, and then also the damage players to complement Heesu. You had Although and Finale, and although I think, even though they've shown like that they can be very good, it's not like they're not your. Obviously, they're not your Prophets. They're not your Kevsers. They're not those guys, right? They're not playing at the same. They're not. Yeah. That's a big fumble. That's a big fumble.
We just didn't sign Yaki. Like,
yeah, we didn't sign Yaki. That's true.
Now it looks like he's been playing really well. Although really showed up in the tournament, like at least for that first map of Koth. Like, although has had good spots, like I don't think that they're necessarily the issue.
Yeah.
It's also like this has always been the issue with Toronto Defiant is they get like Heesu or Sato or Surefour or Agilities, and then they like are just filling in spots with players who are not on that same like superstar level.
Cruz, Sharik, Gods,
these names
Aztec on Zarya.
Aztec on Zarya. He's got the Wikipedia pulled up beside him.
No, that's off memory. That's off memory.
Oh no, this team, man. Not
like
real.
Yeah, no, Steven hit it right on the head, man. It's just that like I don't know, it's like we have the most, like Toronto has like, aside from Dallas maybe, we have like the most sponsor money coming in to be able to support. We know like from rumors that these guys have high paying, like these are higher paying contracts on Defiant.
Yeah.
And obviously Toronto, like Overactive Media, they spent like millions, don't want to say billion, there's no way it is, but millions on a venue. They're going to be building an esports stadium in Toronto, like for their whole like, Mad Lions, their Toronto Ultra, and then Toronto Defiant. And they just are just like, I don't know, it's like they just like cautiously, they'll go for big signings at the start, like this off season. We got Twilight like right away, and we're like, damn, that's sick. And then it's like waiting, and then we're like, oh, Although Finale. It's like, well, I don't know. I don't know why they stop. They slow down.
Yeah, like, and I don't understand why, like, Toronto should just have more money than other teams. Like, I don't understand what the issue is. Like, do players just not want to play with Toronto? Why is that? Is it because it's Canada? Like, I know that's something that affects other sports teams. Like, it definitely affects, like, the Raptors in the NBA. Like, players just don't want to move. Yeah, exactly. But, like, I don't know, like, we're not charging, like players in the Overwatch League aren't getting paid millions of dollars on contracts. Like, I feel like the taxes aren't that much worse. Like, is that really why players don't want to just move to Toronto? Like,
I mean, I'm pretty sure Defiant players get their, like, home, like, paid for. Like, they aren't paying rent in Toronto. There's no way. Toronto's, like, so expensive. There's no way.
A lot of, like, professional sports players have the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But
so I guess I was talking to Faro, right, who was going to come on, but he couldn't because of schedule, and he like outlined the seasons, like each of the seasons. So I'll just like kind of look at his outlines for the 4 seasons. Great stage 1, lost to Shark, who won it all, who had a lot of potential, and it was ruined because Envy and Neko were secretly massive bullies that made Stellar literally retire and multiple teammates break down crying. Plus, their coach was Bishop, who did some things and got instantly fired. No more budget when this happens, and they can't import Korean players or a new coach, so have to sign players like Gods, Sharik, and others to try and recover. So that's their second season of Overwatch League, their first season, right?
Who was that? Wait, who was the guy that started with a Z? Zik, yeah, we got Zik in season 2.
Zik.
Or
Zik
in like season 3.
Zik was kind of cool though. Zik had some fun stuff going.
Yeah.
Anyways, go on.
Second season, get the Canadian talent and build a team that would thrive on LAN. They signed Fifi specifically for morale. He's not a strategy coach. He's there to get them through the homestands and the flights. Then COVID hits. Fifi is the only coach in the league that quit the team because of COVID and goes home. And there's a team stuck at home with no main coach for the rest of the season. Incredibly unlucky.
And then Surefour booms.
Surefour
just like mental booms.
Surefour's gone. He's queuing Valorant all day. He's done. It's over. Third season. They climb to mid. KDG comes late, so he inherits some ass in Beast and Logics. signs everybody else, and the team climbs from pure unlucky ass to mid for the first time in its career. Fourth season, things finally starting to look great, except KDG Curse comes in and MuZe hates him. Unlucky first stage due to the infighting and being seeded instantly against Dallas round 1. There is still hope for this season, but genuinely this team has just been the most unlucky fucking team in history.
I could definitely I could definitely get behind him saying that the team is unlucky in terms of just problems, right?
Yeah.
Like KDG, I guess I would assume in like the off season for the 2021 season, right, between 2020 and 2021, I would assume they didn't know they could get KDG as a coach, so they just re-signed Logix and Beast. And what's crazy to me is Defiant thought, yeah, man, we're gonna run it back. That's definitely gonna be a successful strategy. Getting Beast again. I mean, Logix, he's whatever. He's good for the branding, I guess, or was at the time, right? He was kind of like their dude. You look at Defiant, you're like, thank you, Mr. Logix. I saw it on Reddit already today. There was a clip of Logix, and everyone was like spamming that. So he's still popular. Mm-hmm. But anyways, they fumbled. They didn't realize they could get KDG. They did, and then they're like, shit, we just spent contracts on these guys, so I guess they couldn't justify the additional contracts to fill out the roster. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And this is before like the 30-day, like you can just drop them kind of thing, right? So,
no. This was between 2020 and 2021. The 30-day thing came like a quarter of the way through the 2020 season. I'm pretty sure. So
why not just drop them?
Valiant dropped their whole roster.
Yeah, they did not care. They legit give zero fucks. They're done.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like when you listen to I can't remember his name right now, but the guy who runs Overactive Media, the guy who owns it.
Mm-hmm.
When you listen to him talk, it seems like he's like someone who wants to be super respectful of the players and like, it's a family here. We want to foster this like environment, but it's like I feel like we need to be maybe a bit more cutthroat. I don't know. Well, I want players to have job security, but also I think he might need to be a bit more cutthroat.
So, I mean, like it is like a professional sport, and like this is like people's job, right? Like, I don't want to say that like they should be mean to players because that's not a healthy team environment, right? Like you want the ownership to like be respectful of players and stuff like that, but like at the end of the day, like the point of owning a team is to win with the team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you need to be able to, as the ownership group, make that type of decision and like, be upfront with players. And, if I know esports are different than professional sports, but like in professional sports, like stuff like that happens all the time. And players are just expected to understand that, I'm a professional player. This is the cost of being a professional player. This is the career choice I made. If I'm just going to get dropped by the team because I'm not cutting it, well then, like that's just how it is. Like, and like obviously you don't want to be mean to players and stuff like that, and that's not what I'm advocating for. I don't think that that's a good solution, but it's like, like it's your job, and if you're not cutting it, then that's how it is. You're gonna get dropped.
Real. Yeah. No doubt. So, I guess we'll move on to expectations for the team coming into the season. We've kind of already talked about it a little bit, but I don't know. I had this team top 3, actually, which is maybe a little egregious, but I had them below Glads and Dallas, which looks good. If you look at the top 2, it looks good for me, but number 3, maybe not. Maybe not the same.
Yeah, top 3 maybe a little high. I mean, I feel like if like going into the season, right? If you're thinking about the big pieces, right? Heesu kind of put on some like god performances last year. Mm-hmm. So now with like better pieces around him, you might think, and in 5v5 format with a tank, shit, Heesu might just pound, right? Yep. But then Twilight last year on the Shock, I am like one of the biggest Shock haters. Yeah. And last year I despised that Violet seemed to just have the team hostage and was playing the Lucy, like was always in instead of having Twilight in because I thought their Twilight look went way better. Twilight looked like the best player in the league when he was playing last year on Shock. But it's like, okay, sick. We've got this sick Ana player, and then when we get into the Overwatch 2 beta, we're like, shit. Ana's hella good right now, right? And Lucio's hella good too, right? And you're like, Churong's supposed to be rookie of the year type of candidate, right? And then MuZe is like, oh, the monkey. Actually, we didn't really know where Tank was gonna be. I think,
No,
but
not really.
yeah, no, it's.
But MuZe is was like a
tough.
good pickup. Like he was like you look at him, you think they're probably able to compete with MuZe for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And then HOTBA looks better because you think, oh, solo tank flexibility. HOTBA, known as a very flexible player. So like even if he isn't maybe like you're not gonna call him a top tier Zarya or a top tier Diva or anything, the flexibility should still make him a high value pickup, right? So there was even from his lower like the lower points of the roster, there were still things to look at. I think they were good.
I think this is the best roster that they've fielded.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
no doubt.
Overall, like I just think that this is just the best, most well-rounded roster that they've fielded. Yeah.
No doubt.
Highest talent
But-
for sure.
Yeah. So Tom, you had them at 3. I
Yeah.
had them at 4, and I had them once again below Dallas, Glads, but then I had Atlanta above them because I thought maybe Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta has shown that they're still
Yeah.
really good, so that's not like unreasonable. But I had them just inching above Shock on my like. I had a tier break between Atlanta, so that was my top 3. Then I had Defiant in like the second tier, right above Shock and Houston. So that's where I had them. I thought that they maybe not. I don't know. Atlanta already was established really well and had some new good players coming in. Glads looked to just be upgrading their roster again, and then Fuel. How can you bet against the Fuel after last year?
I mean, I didn't do my preseason preds, so sorry about that. But I mean, I think like going in, I was definitely thinking that they were top 5. I think they were 5th place. So I had like obviously like Fuel, Glads, Shock, before them. So
Yeah. I mean, I had them in that. I did 2 tier breaks, and I had just Glads, Dallas, Defiant, Shock, Atlanta, and then all the other teams like a tier break below them.
yeah.
So I did like I don't know. I thought they were in the same realm with those. They still could be technically in the end. They could turn this around and be a top
Yes.
5 team, no doubt.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
Oh, I think 100% they could be.
Yeah.
MuZe, we've seen it already. MuZe has the ability to carry his team as a main tank to a like tournament championship. Don't worry, Dallas was not sandbagging that stage, not at all. No. But Twilight can win. You've seen
Yeah.
him do it. Churong is like a very promising
I think
rookie.
he's lived up to the expectations.
Heesu,
Yeah.
you've seen him do very well on Philly. Like, really, I guess your only question mark is like, do the rotation between HOTBA-MuZe and then also the damage line. Like, what's coming? Like, are the other two gonna live up to the hype, right? And I think that's something we should probably talk about as well, right? Is the HOTBA-MuZe merry-go-round?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess just to. Do you want to start, Tom? Sorry.
No, you can continue if you were gonna say
I
something.
was gonna talk about the merry-go-round.
Yeah, sure.
I think I've been kind of down on HOTBA since the beginning. I think I was really unexcited by the HOTBA pickup. Now having said that, I think that he has performed better every single game that he's been in. And like I think that like the best performance that he's had has been in this most recent tournament. I think he's like the best. Now, having said that, I don't think that he is a top tier like off tank. I just don't think that that's really like fleshed out. I think like he definitely brings a lot of flexibility to the team and has a lot of good points. And like I don't know what it's like inside the team and like how he gets along with the other players and stuff like that. So there's definitely lots of benefits that a player like that can have. But in terms of just like the eye test, I really don't feel like HOTBA has exceeded my expectations. But I think that he's definitely gotten better, and I think that there's room for him to grow within this team. But they've just looked better with MuZe. Like the comps that they've played with the monkey, I think have just been better. And I was kind of confused why they're not playing the monkey comps more, to be honest. But
I don't know if there's room to grow with HOTBA.
I kind of agree
in the
with
roster. I think he needs like, unless we go hard into like, because like it's not like Zarya was meta last tournament, but it's not like she was like initially people may have thought that based on Dallas's performances, but she wasn't like 100% the most like the must pick, right? And Glad showed that, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know why we leaned into it as much as we did, but I think unless Zarya is 100% must pick, I don't see MuZe getting subbed out. I don't think he should be. Anyways, I think we will grow as a team like way better if we have MuZe in the whole time.
Yeah. And like even to that, like I don't think that Heesu has looked as strong on the Reaper as he has on like the other DPS
Soldier?
that you play with the Soldier. Like he just like the DPS line just look like they're more comfortable on the DPS heroes that you play like with the monkey. Like,
yeah, for sure.
The
The
team
monkey
just
comp.
looks better.
Yeah. Like Finale, I thought Finale looked spectacular on Tracer. Like lights
Yeah,
out. I was a huge
insane,
fan.
insane
Like
player.
arguably one of the best in the league right now.
Yeah.
Like,
and MuZe was looking crazy on the monkey. Their monkey comp was genuinely looking like one of the best in NA for sure.
Like, why are we even like playing around with the Zarya comp? Like, I don't understand.
I don't know. Maybe the only team we were scrimming and like our main scrim partner was Dallas or something like that. Like that could be it. But
maybe
I don't know. That's kind of a far out. Like
maybe Dallas and Boston were the teams we were scrimming, and we're just like, oh, I guess Zarya is just the best pick. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because like every single piece was performing better with the Winston. Like every piece. It's hard to really argue for the Zarya comp as much as we did it. I don't hate that we like tried it, but we definitely shouldn't have leaned into it.
No.
Going back to HOTBA and his room to grow, that boy's been in the league since season 1. Surely he's at
he's
know
a
what you're
jersey
gonna get.
collector. He's a jersey collector.
I think that the team like I don't necessarily mean that as in like I think that HOTBA is going to improve as a player, but I think that the other issue that we're seeing with them is that like when HOTBA is in, like the team just feels disjointed. Like they feel like it almost looks like a different team than when MuZe is in.
Yeah.
And I mean like I feel like the team itself has looked more cohesive as time has gone on with HOTBA in. And that's more what I mean by like room to grow. Is like the team looks like they're actually like playing more together. Like
that makes sense.
The HOTBA team, when HOTBA's in, it's a playmaking team. The whole team just tries to do playmaking things, right? You see Twilight dying in like dumb positions, right?
Yeah.
Trying to go for stuff. You see what's this called? Like you see the people like the DPS, whatever DPS players, you see them going on like weird angles or like popping ults. Like I remember seeing some weird ass ult decisions, right? And you saw it pay off sometimes, right? Like in the Lijiang game on the Lijiang map against Dallas, you saw like who is it? Heesu on the Reaper just go for crazy blossoms. And sometimes they work, sometimes they didn't.
Work. Yeah.
But and then HOTBA goes for like literally like solo grabs when you don't need them, but he just does them just for fun. It's like that's a playmaking team, but then when MuZe is in, you see them all kind of like Finale collapses with the monkey. You see the anti go in at the right time. You see the combos of ults just a lot better. I don't know. It's just a completely
MuZe is
different.
more of a shot caller, right?
I would assume so.
Like I feel like that has to be what the difference maker is. Like is HOTBA just more of a quiet player? You know, he can't like coordinate dives as well as MuZe can. Like
yeah, I feel like he would be a quieter player because he's kind of always been the mechanical like off tank player, right? He's always been the guy with like the good mechanics, like the good aim. Like he used to flex onto Tracer and stuff like that. So I'd assume he's more of like a quieter off tank player that just goes for like really crazy plays and shit. And then MuZe isn't that.
And MuZe has come out as being like very like emotional,
passionate.
right? Yeah, passionate. And that probably translates into his comms and his like his leadership within the team, I would assume. And HOTBA, I don't know. We can't say if he's not like that, but I would wager probably MuZe is a bit more of a leader within that team.
Yeah.
And so do we think that that's kind of what the bigger issue is then? Is that like when MuZe isn't in, are they just kind of lacking leadership?
Maybe.
Yeah, but but we also know that leadership is bad in another respect, which is KDG with all the RQ, with like the infighting, I guess, right? I'm very glad, by the way. I want to make this clear if we don't touch on it. I'm very happy that the route that we took was not firing the players.
Yeah.
And we fired the coach instead. That was being the issue because we did sign on Moby Dick, who we have heard people on Owl Twitter and Comp Overwatch and all these different places are like, Moby Dick's great. He's sick. He was nasty with X team that he was with before. And so I think we have someone who can take the steps or to fill in as at least a strategic mind, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm glad we got rid of KDG instead of getting rid of like MuZe and Finale. That would have been crazy if we just got rid of two dudes.
It just can't happen.
Two of our best players who've been performing. Like they've been probably the best players this season.
Yeah.
Right. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I guess I had it down later, but yeah, KDG Gone. We all agree it's a good move.
You have to believe in your players.
Yeah.
Like if you're not believing in your players, what are you doing as an organization? Like,
I mean, I'm sad that KDG didn't work out because, like I said beforehand, I liked what he had been doing. I mean, back when he was on Seoul, I liked the rotations. He used to be a good coach for player rotations. That was kind of like his big thing, and you saw that impact on Philly. I feel like too, when they would make like really intelligent kind of map specific compositions and stuff like that, and player choices, but it just didn't materialize on the Defiant org. I don't know.
Like, I mean, I don't know if the issue is necessarily that KDG is a bad coach per se. It's more so that just he doesn't fit with the team, and like there's something to be said about like, you know, players should respect the coach a little bit and like try and understand where they're coming from, but like whatever Toronto has been doing obviously has not been working. So I think that switching up the coaching is a positive change, and I'm hopeful for what the impacts of that change are going to be.
I believe I've seen somewhere that Moby Dick was kind of supposed to come into a larger role as the season went on. I don't know how, like, the sources on this. I don't know, like, what is going on there. But from what like, a lot of teams were after Moby Dick, right? And I'm sure he got a head coaching position somewhere, but he goes as an assistant coming into the season with Toronto. So I don't know if their goal was to see if KDG was going to work out and then have Moby Dick as like a backup, maybe. I don't know what they were doing, but somehow they like got Moby Dick to go from a head coach position somewhere else probably to an assistant coach position. So I don't know. I don't know
Maybe
what that really means.
Planned.
Yeah, the redemption arc planned to rally the troops, make them all hate KDG, and then bring in Moby Dick. That's a big play.
I mean,
team around a common enemy.
It's a real thing. If there's like a toxic or a sore spot like in the team, even if like the peak could be really high with that piece, when they're gone, there's just that, as a player, there's just that kind of like relief that like you can kind of be a bit more chill and kind of like, if things start like decisions, if the whole team wanted to do something, KDG's like, no, you can't do that, right? That team's going to be really happy that they get to do the things, and even if it's not the like, maybe KDG knew that the Zarya meta all along was like the best meta, right? Like that was it. Like if played perfectly, it was the best. It didn't matter because he was blinded by that. Like you need to trust your players sometimes and play what's like super, like what they feel super comfortable doing, because the peak on that might be higher than what you're trying to force.
Yeah, play the meta for your team, not the meta for the perfect team. Right?
Yeah.
So maybe KDG's like a fantastic coach if he has the best players for every like situation.
I mean, you saw that with
Philly.
Fusion. Fusion had a crazy big, like, deep roster that season, right? And it was very successful at doing what he was trying to do. But you don't have the depth here, right?
Yeah, that's real. So I guess we can go to where they are now in the power rankings. I suppose, like, where do we rate them? Let me see where I rated them. I think I have them bottom 5, maybe.
Bottom 5,
maybe. I'm
bottom 5.
No, it can't be bottom 5. It's probably. I think I have them like above Washington, above London, not bottom 5.
Thank God.
Above Washington, above London. So where do we rate them relative to like London, Washington? Just straight up above.
They're better.
They're better.
I think they're just better.
Recently?
Yeah.
I think they're better than dude, Washington doesn't deserve to be ranked. You know my opinion on this. Washington doesn't deserve to be ranked. They can just hang outside. They can hang out outside of the power rankings, and when they decide they want to behave, they can join the team. But until they decide they can be a consistently like adult, they can't. They're sitting at the kids' table outside of the power rankings. Okay, I don't want to touch them.
Okay.
But yes, I put them. If I theoretically were to put a Washington Justice that has matured, I'd put Toronto above them, 100%, and above London.
What about relative to Houston, Florida? Do we think they're in them, or do we think they're a little below them?
I got a hot take.
Yo, what's the hot take?
I think they're above them.
Oh, that people don't want to hear that.
I know. No, I still think that Toronto are number 5.
Okay. Why?
I think that.
Why is that?
Okay.
Because it makes
Look,
him smile.
I think that. No, I just hate myself. No, I think that I really do think that they have the right pieces. I mean, obviously, I think we could see an improvement in HOTBA. I think that I don't know. I just really hope that with the coaching change, that we're going to see them playing to their strengths as a team rather than to whatever the meta is. And I think that is probably what what MuZe was upset about and what Finale was upset about. Why was MuZe upset? Probably because they were trying to force the Zarya comp and he wasn't able to play, right? I feel like that makes a lot of sense as to what the fight is. So if they're firing the coach that was preventing MuZe from playing, I feel like we're going to be able to see a turnaround in the team and actually see them live up to their expectations, right? I don't think that it's that far out there to actually see this happen. And now that the team is actually going to play to their strengths and not just try and play whatever's meta, we'll see a big improvement in their performance.
They definitely have more
Oh,
talent than
go
Florida.
ahead.
They definitely have more talent than Florida Houston, right?
I think that they're just a better team than Florida Houston. I think they just need to get their shit together.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's hard to say because it seems like we're gonna go to a crazy meta shift. Also,
True.
there's huge potential that there's a meta shift towards double flex support, which that benefits Houston. That benefits Florida as well. Remember, they have Kariv.
Mm-hmm.
Most people forget they have.
Yeah.
Florida
He's
has
just sitting
Kariv.
there.
Yeah.
He's
He's
chilling.
there. He's there. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I want to believe in them a lot, and I will. I don't know. You know what? I'll say they're better than Florida. Maybe that's dumb. I'll put them above Florida, but we just lost to Houston, so it's hard to really say that we're gonna be better. MuZe does have a decent ball, right? Am I misremembering? I think he does,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
It's,
good
it's
ball.
a decent ball. Yeah.
We have a good tracer, so if we're going into a
Yeah.
ball meta, you're gonna see tracer. So we have
Yeah.
Finale. Twilight is good on Zen.
Mm-hmm.
Chorong, I would assume he can play. Well, we know he can play Brig. So probably if we're going into a meta where Zen, where poke is more prevalent, I see us going in more of a direction of Chorong being on a Mercy or a Brig instead of being on a BAP where you're doing a double backline poke where maybe we'll see Shock pull out that, right?
Yeah.
Or Houston we'll see do BAP Zen.
New York.
Whereas
even.
I think New York, I think we're gonna see Toronto probably do more of a Brig Zen ball tracer, maybe Echo, Hanzo, Ash, something. I don't know.
So I feel like this is going to be a bad take. I'm going to throw it out there.
Okay.
What are the odds that you think one of our DPS players picks up BAP? Because if we're gonna if it's Heesu who picks up BAP,
Ain't no way.
right? Because if it's gonna be Echo Tracer, right? Aldo plays the Echo, Finale plays the Tracer. Heesu's not gonna get playtime.
Heesu on the BAP.
No.
You want Heesu on the BAP?
No, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I think Chorong's gonna have a better BAP than Heesu. I'm sorry.
Well,
main support
just
players,
a DPS character, man. That heals.
but
I don't think so.
Main support players have had to play BAP in contend, especially in contenders where your rosters are less flexible. You will see main support players have to pick up the BAP, or they'll pick up the Zen. Maybe Chorong's got a nasty Zen and Twilight's going to play the BAP, but I doubt it because it's not like Twilight hasn't shown in Overwatch League yet that he has a sick BAP. I don't assume he does, but
can definitely play BAP.
But his Zen's crazy too. I think in most situations you want, although the flexibility is worse, I think you get more value from having the better Zen if you're doing a double flex support lineup. I think the better Zen is more valuable than the better BAP because the better Zen's gonna go crazy.
Yeah, and Twilight Zen is like that's like one of his guys. Like that's his
It was
guy.
top. It was top
Yeah.
two and
Yeah,
goats.
it was
top
insane.
two.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd like to put him on Zen as much as we can, to be honest, and then Ana and then Bap if we have to, kind of thing. But if the meta does go that way, yeah, maybe Heesu is just benched, unless we go with Tracer Ash and then I don't know Finale's
You said
Echo.
Hanzo.
Oh yeah,
Did we see
Hanzo.
Sombra?
It's a sick,
Did we-
nasty Hanzo.
Do we see Sombra?
No, I don't think so. I think Sombra's uptime's
we
too
do-
low. I think Tracer's just better.
No, I meant like Tracer Sombra. Could we see that?
Oh, Tracer
Ball's
Sombra
getting
Ball
playtime,
Zen.
If Ball's
I think
getting
if we
play,
get
Ball
a
and Zen are
Sombra
getting
matter-
playtime, I
It
could
might
see
be
that.
it might be possible, but I think the thing about Sombra is getting that hack off is that more valuable than just having someone else that can do damage. What if we go Genji? Is Genji better than Sombra? Probably still, right? Even in a full dive, because Genji is not going to suffer from this change,
Maybe.
right? So Genji should be strong, probably.
Yeah, Genji pairs well with Zen and Brig.
So
Oh.
I just feel like the extra step of Sombra makes her much worse,
Maybe.
even if Heesu's the GOAT at Sombra.
Yeah. Anyways, to tie this back, I think we could see Toronto do very well in this next stage, or we could see them fall off a cliff. I'm hoping, and I think it's more likely that we play better, and there's a honeymoon phase. But I don't know. Only time will tell, I guess.
It's hard to say for sure. Okay, so I guess we could do one last thing on how good each player is on this team. I guess like I have how good is Heesu, because I know Heesu. Some pretty mixed opinions on how good Heesu actually is in the league. Some people are putting him still high. Some people are putting him kind of low. What are our thoughts on Heesu?
I
This
don't
season.
take Heesu slander. You're just watching a different like channel, I guess. I don't know. Like you're watching like you're watching a Valorant tournament instead of watching Overwatch League when you make comments that Heesu isn't good. Like
No.
he's so intelligent. He is genuinely like a super intelligent damage player, and that's exciting to watch because he makes most of the time he makes like really good decisions. Obviously, like intelligent players, if it doesn't work, if they're like their gamble there doesn't work, then it's gonna look bad, and that's why people kind of call out Hisu for like dumb stuff sometimes. But I think overall, Hisu's crazy. Like his Hanzo performances last year, woo! Nah, you can't tell me. You cannot tell me that guy is bad. You can't tell me that. You know he's super good and he's super flexible. And this guy was also benching Carpe in 2020.
Yeah.
People just like to erase that from their minds.
Yeah.
People were
He was
upset.
doing that.
I remember a lot of
People were upset that he
Fusion
was benching
fans.
Carpe. They were winning. They were still winning, and they're like, yeah, no, he has to get off Carpe. Why isn't Carpe? And what the hell? We're paying this guy for what?
Yeah.
And so I think Hisu. I mean, I don't know where I'd put him in terms of like if you were to say like a top whatever, but I do think that Hisu is your star player, and he's kind of like when you think of like each team and like what star players you want to keep in. You think of like, I mean, you think of Philly right now. You think of Zest. You want to keep in players like that. You want to keep in like Kevsters. You want to play in or keep in like propers that I think your Hisu you want to keep in because he just has that star, like that's your star guy. I mean, Tom, you talked about Boston, I think, right? And you've been critical, or not critical, but you've been like cautioning about, Striker's gone, although that's good for morale. Where's your star dude? Like, where's the dude that's gonna pull the 1v5 out of his ass, right? Like, who is that guy, right? And I think that's our guy on this team right now, at least for now. Unless we see, although in finale, I mean, finale's been great, but unless we see, although in finale, like truly, like step it up to another level, Heesu's got to be the guy.
Yeah.
I think Heesu is like an A+ DPS player. I don't think that he hits that same S tier that like you would put like Prophet in or stuff like that. Like I don't think that like Heesu is like actually gonna like ever turn it on and just carry a series and just be like the only player that really matters in the server, like how like Prophet can just do, right? But having said that, like I think that any Heesu slander, like I just don't think they're watching the game. Like as Owen said, like he's an intelligent DPS player. He's not making the super flashy play that's going to get all the attention and get the clips. He's making the right play. And, sometimes the right play is taking a risk and sometimes it backfires on a player, but you're still making the right play. And I'd rather see the DPS just make the right plays. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Going back to what Owen said about him being like a smart player, it's like most of the hit scans, like it does come to a lot of like I shoot the guy good, and Heesu shoots the guy good, but the plays he's making, they're like there's a little more game knowledge in there. It feels like just by watching it, and like that's why I think he's on the Reaper as opposed to the Soldiers, because the Reaper is more of that guy, right?
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like a benefit. It's like a different kind of dude. Like he's never going to be your MVP. He's not going to be a contender for MVP. But he's going to be a very solid player that you're going to struggle to find anyone like replace. He's going to be an asset to your team regardless. That's why you see him benching Carpe and stuff like that. So yeah, I think Heesu. I don't know what he is this season, but he's definitely top 10. I'd like approaching top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
That's
approaching top 5.
That would make some people mad, maybe saying that.
I don't think that's untrue though. Like I just genuinely don't think that. I don't think any single team in the league right now would be upset to have Heesu as a DPS player.
No,
I
probably
really
not.
don't
I
think
mean,
that there's. I don't think that there's a single team right now that wouldn't put Heesu in on a regular basis. Like name a team, like genuinely.
Seoul Dynasty, maybe.
Seoul, maybe. Okay, I'll concede.
Shanghai.
Shanghai Dynasty, Shanghai.
Yeah, maybe. But like in terms of like the NA teams.
In terms of the NA teams, probably.
Like he gets playtime on Glads. He gets playtime on Dallas, I think.
Does he get playtime on Glads though?
I think he gets playtime on Glads. I feel like you put Ons in to like play Widow, and then I feel like Heesu just has a better soldier.
So you're saying he benches Pataphan, is what you're saying essentially. That he benches Patty?
I think that's reasonable.
Because you're not benching. He's not benching Kev. You're just not. I don't know.
I think
Kev's like top 3.
I think that there are times that you would want like. No. I think there are times that you would bench Kev for it, like depending on like what DPS you're playing.
I think he would get playtime on the Gladiators. I don't know if he'd be your top 2 starters.
No.
But I think he would get playtime. I think he would bench Pataphan sometimes. When you have Patty on the Soldier, is Heesu's better soldier than Patty fans? Maybe. But Patty just had a sick tournament on the Soldier and everything he played though. So it's hard to say.
The man was benching Carpe in 2020. Like
true.
I feel how do you say that he doesn't bench some?
Yeah, he definitely benched Patty on the Soldier. I think
maybe we got our nostalgia glasses on and we're just not.
I don't think so. Maybe I don't think that Heesu is like
off. Maybe he's fallen off.
I think Happy benches him.
Yeah, I think that I would take Happy over Heesu probably. If you're talking hit scan though, but what is Heesu? Dude, what is Heesu's even role? Is it even hit scan?
It's hit scan. It's hit scan.
Is it though?
It's hit scan. Like,
or is he kind of like a weird? He's like a weird hyperflex.
Well, he's not hyper. He's not Tracer.
He's not hyperflex because what he plays Sombra, he plays Hanzo. Like,
I guess
what else does he play?
He is your
Well, Hanzo is like a hit scan. Like a hit scan. Hanzo's in a hit scan player's hero pool.
He's a sniper, right?
Sombra, Hanzo. Yeah, but is he a Widow guy? Have we seen Heesu go Widow?
He can play Widow.
We have.
I don't think you hate him on Widow, but I don't think that you get too excited about him on Widow.
He played Widow on Philly, no?
Oh, he did, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a good Ashe, I think, too. I don't know.
He's got a good Ashe.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a really weird. He's not normal. He's not normal.
No.
Something's wrong. Something's not wrong, but yeah.
Is this Tracer good? Have we even seen it?
Yeah.
I think we've seen it a little bit, but I don't think you're not putting Heesu in to play Tracer.
No,
he's playing Tracer as he has to. But we have Finale.
If
Heesu's ever on Tracer,
I hate to see it.
Something's wrong. I don't think. I'd rather not see it, even if it's good. So I think that's pretty much it. There is a thing for preds for next stage. What do we think? Give me your record. What do you think they do in the next 6 games in the qualifiers?
Can you remind us of
They're playing London, then Florida, then Washington, then Glads, then Paris.
It's 5 games, right?
It's I posted it in our chat we have right now. It's London, Florida, Washington, Glads, Paris, Shock.
So 6.
It's 6.
I think. Oh God, it's such a tough time to bet against London because I think that they genuinely could be better. Okay, I want to say that they beat London. Like, if I run through this quickly, I want to say they beat London. They should have a good game against Florida, and I think they can win that. I am never predicting Justice to win anything, so I say they win the Justice game. They do not beat Glads. I'm sorry.
No.
They will beat Eternal, and then depends on like what Shock's looking like, but I don't think they beat Shock.
They got Mikey rolling out on the ball, bro.
That's an optimistic 4-2. That's like me being optimistic and saying 4-2. But I could also see a world where this is a 2-4.
Something weird about the schedule is that we've played Washington twice in 2 stages.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
That's true.
I
don't know. I say optimistically 4-2, but I think this could also be 2-4 if it goes bad.
I think it could be 1-5.
This could even be a 1-5.
I think it could be 1-5.
That could be a 1-5
because
our only winnable game against Paris.
Washington's a coin flip, and if they're going to show up, really. Yeah. Florida, this is going to be the most, this is Florida's first winnable team that's good. Because before this, the best team they've beaten is Washington. Like, this is Florida's, litmus test right now on how good they actually are.
Yeah.
So, they could be much better than Toronto and be, a little bit below, Atlanta or something.
Yeah.
Or they're just, below Toronto straight up. And we just don't know.
And we're basically counting them out against Shock and Glads, right?
I think Shock is maybe winnable. We'll see where we are in 4 weeks.
Maybe winnable.
Yeah, that's tough to call because it's at the end of the stage. That's the end of the tournament.
Because if it is a ball meta and Shock are playing Mikey, I like MuZe on ball a little bit more, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't kept up with Mikey to see if he's actually
No, I haven't either. He could have been.
I know he was the ball guy. I remember on Boston, he was the ball guy.
Well, that's the only reason he could play over Kaluge, right? That's the only way.
I think so.
So,
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, optimistically, it could be a 4-2 I feel like 5. Okay, obviously it could be 5-1 or 6-0 at the best.
Oh yeah, we're for sure beating Gladiators.
But I do not think we beat Glads. I think the only guarantee in here, or there's 2 guarantees. We beat Paris, and we'd lose to Glads, and then the rest could be whatever depending on form.
Yeah. I think
if we lose to Paris, that's it. I don't know if I can trust this team. We lose to Paris.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a 4-2. I think that there's a chance that we could beat Shock, but I'd say it's I feel like that's a 70-30 kind of thing.
In favor of
maybe
Shock?
A 60-40 depending on how they look by the time they get there, but I feel like that's a 70-30 kind of thing.
Is that in favor of Shock?
In favor of Shock. I feel like Shock would win 70% of the time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a lights out series, but
I think they play London and Florida next, this coming in days. I think they're either going to win both of those matches or lose both of those matches. Is that a bad take? I don't see a 1-1.
I agree.
I kind of put London and Florida at the same power level. So yeah.
I think that they definitely could lose those 2 games.
That would just be brutal.
I think that would be the end of this stage for them. If they lose those 2, they could easily just go. The
stage is over if they lose those 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
They could go. That's their 1-5.
That's brutal.
If they lose those 2,
because first matches with no coach, and those are must-win games.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah,
for the sake of this franchise,
they have a point because they have the point advantage, right? They have the extra point.
I feel like that rule is going to be abolished. Surely that rule goes away.
It might, but if it doesn't, let's assume it doesn't.
If it doesn't,
they have their point advantage, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they don't have to be risked. London has to go huge. They could still qualify on a 3-3 is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Or if they go even, or even a 2. There's a world that in a 2-4 they're still qualifying.
That's true.
If the points go the right way,
it's right?
If they have the right map differential. But
I feel like Toronto aren't a 3-2 kind of team. I feel like if Toronto are losing, they're losing. I feel like the reason why Toronto lose is because they get boomed, right?
They're
I don't see their map differential being competitive.
I think for the sake of this franchise, I'm going to look at this and say these are winnable games. But if we lose them, I'm so sad, and I'm
I think
gone.
that could be it for the year.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, I feel like like no pressure, but like, I feel like if we lose these 2 games, like that could genuinely just be it for the year.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
Actually,
season over.
Yeah, because where do we get our confidence back? We don't. We just
You
lost
don't.
our coach. We just fired our coach, and we
Yeah.
just bombed the stage.
Yeah.
It's like,
But are you gonna
where
be
is the
happy about your win
confidence?
over Paris? Like,
Unless we
Hmm.
sign a coach between midsummer and.
but they'd also
something
have to
else.
be from NA unless they're coaching wirelessly. That'd be awful.
No, it's just not gonna
wireless
be-
coach, huh? A wireless
Wireless
coach. That's what we're
coach.
calling it. That's what we're calling it. What if he's got Ethernet?
He got
Is he
no
a
wires,
wired
bro.
coach?
He's got no wire.
Is this coach wireless? Okay.
Okay, but I think
Dude.
that's it. We just had a powerful 55-minute discussion
Oh,
about
damn,
the
was that
Toronto
an hour?
Defiant.
fuck.
Yeah, and that went by in no time. Imagine if Pharaoh was here.
That would have been crazy.
We could have pushed 2. We could have pushed 2 hours.
Next stage. We'll see if we get another one of these going between the next stage. I think that'll be good. So
Yeah. Oh my God. Next, dude, we're gonna be sitting here next stage, and we're just gonna be hands in our first in our palms, man. We're gonna be looking back and thinking they're not top 5.
Not top
the
5.
potential is not there.
Sad.
They're struggling for bottom 5.
Next episode, live from the Summer Showdown.
True.
Oh,
That's
I
not
guess,
true.
yeah. Well,
Because-
no, it's not the summer showdown.
We're doing an episode in between.
Well, yeah, we'll do one after the midseason madness because that's a whole stage.
Yeah.
A lot to
yeah.
talk about probably. Anyway, that's gonna be it. You guys want to say anything before I close it out? Any shout outs? You want to shout out Frontline Frags?
No,
No.
that
Okay.
channel's dead. I don't I don't plan to make any comeback yet. Maybe I'll stream our Pokemon.
Yeah,
Soul
sure,
Link,
maybe.
but probably not.
Shout out Wizard, next coach of the Toronto Defiant. I'm
Wizard
waiting.
Young?
It's gonna
Wizard
happen.
Young, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Fuck.
yeah, he's available. I think, right?
No, he's on Seoul. I think.
Is he actually?
I think he's an assistant coach for Seoul.
Never mind then.
We'll scalp him.
What could have
We'll get him.
been?
We'll take him
scalp
out. We'll take him back.
This coach for the season.
TD
Ugh.
Bank pockets go deep.
They got Mitch Mariner, bro. He's making 11 mil a season. He he can throw a bag.
You could shell it for Yaki though.
No.
Yeah, maybe we rescue Yaki. Maybe this
That's
the
base,
tail end of
yeah.
the season is rescuing.
We
Yaki
trade
from the-
Aldo for Yaki. Thoughts?
I like it. I'm supportive.
Yeah, we could.
Or we don't even give them money. We make them play Vulcan. I like that one. Vulcan on the damage. That's it.
We don't even give them money. We just offer Yaki a contract. Yeah,
Just
no
Yaki
buyout.
and Finale.
Well, they need money. We give them a huge buyout. We take Yaki.
Easy.
They play Vulcan.
How about
Everyone's happy.
Yaki pulls the retirement card and
Oh,
then unretires. 'cause
Oh.
Oh,
Overwatch.
so real.
so real.
And then we get him for free, no buyout.
No buyout.
That's perfect. All right, but that's gonna be it
Okay.
for us. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe it for more Overwatch League content. Multiple videos a day. Comment down below your thoughts on Defiant. Any other takes too. So have a good one and deuces.